and welcome to Gentle Yoga. Find your way into a comfortable seated position. You might like to sit up on something if you have a cushion or a blanket, or it could even be a folded up towel. Just a little bit of something to lift the hips so you have some extra space in the knees, the hips, the lower back. And finding an evenness in the sitting bones, a little rocking side to side will help to balance that space out. Once you have that lower part of your body organized and you feel comfortable, and that might mean you choose a completely different position. So you find what is your comfortable seated position. And once you have that organized, it's a lot easier to organize the spine. So from that rooted down sensation through the sitting bones and the tailbone, just think about an extension through the crown of the head. It's very subtle. And as you open up space, a crown towards the ceiling of the sky, you feel a gentle extension, just spaciousness in the vertebrae of the spine. And so when you think about organizing your body in a seated meditation position or in any of the physical poses, there should be a balance between effort and putting your awareness and attention into how you want to organize these limbs and the spine, the head and the neck, all of those things, and then backing off a little bit into relaxation and ease, so that you have the perfect balance between this effort and ease. It is one of the things that is discussed quite a bit in the philosophy of yoga, this balance between awareness, attention, without straining or trying too hard. So you want to try to come to that place of equanimity and balance. So see if you can organize your physical body in a way that you can find a gentle enlivenment of the muscular structure. You'll feel the abdominals working a little bit to help to hold the spine upright, the muscles that line the spine, without squeezing or contracting or feeling tension necessarily in any of those muscles. See if you and find that perfect spot. It doesn't mean that you won't have sensation in your body. Of course, you might have a little tightness in the hips. We're just getting started. Maybe you even feel some tension in the shoulders, a little lift, and then settle them back down. Do that a couple times, lifting up towards the ears and settling back down. And then try to soften the shoulders away from the ears as you still find length through the back of the neck. Very gently drawing the jawline back. Stacking the bones can help to create this sense of effortless seat. Now into this space, take a deep breath. Open your mouth and sigh out. Try to let something go, something that feels heavy. Air is nice and light, so let the lungs fill up like two big balloons. Feel that lift, expansion, and rise of the chest. And then anything that feels heavy in your body or your spirit as you exhale, try to let that go. I'm going to do that one more time, filling yourself up with this lightness, this ease, this freedom of breath and prana. And as you exhale, what would you like to leave here right now and not take back with you at the end of class? Let it go out through the mouth side. And take a moment to set a personal intention for practice this morning. Somewhere that you're headed, somewhere that you would like to bring attention to, effortless attention. And I'm going to suggest that if nothing bubbles up right away for you, that you set an intention for this balance between the effort that you put into the practice and the ease and softness that you feel in body and breath. And sealing that intention with a single chant of Om. Deep breath in. Feel that vibration within you, letting that energize you and guide your way as you take an inhale and reach the arms up and overhead, a nice big stretch. As you exhale, hands come to heart center. Inhalation, scooping up. And exhalation, hands come to heart. Do that one more time. Scooping up, you can imagine scooping up energy and light. And as you exhale, drawing that down to heart center. Good, open the arms up. And you're just going to start a nice gentle twisting. Starting to loosen the muscles right there at the shoulder blade. You're moving through the rib cage, and the head and neck are going free along with you. So you might feel a little tugging at the bottom of your rib cage as you start to go a little bit deeper into this twist. Take your time. Follow the natural intelligence of the body as it begins to loosen, unwind. And maybe you find that the twists get a little bit bigger. And we're going to add in some breath. Think about someone that you have been really wanting to tell to be quiet. It could be someone that you live with, or it could be someone in the greater world. And then this is the sound that you make as you twist. As that silence of whatever you're trying to quiet, and it might be even the voices in your head, start to get a little bit quieter from your shushing sound. Now you have some opportunity to make sound of your own, and this is going to open up the space of the throat. So like you have the ability now to speak your truth, and it sounds like this. Ha, 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 ha. Ha, 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 ha. Start to slow back down now. You're going to be feeling a lot of sensation in the arms and the shoulders. That's good. You want that. Breathe that in, scoop that energy up. And as you exhale, soften hands to heart. And then just bring the palms down to the knees so the arms can really release, the shoulders can release, and turn the space of the eyes, turn the eyes up, I should say, to the space between the eyebrows, gazing upward at the third eye point. And come present to the changes in your breath. Elevated heartbeat. A lot of energy rising up. Breathe that through. So in my experience, one of the ways to create a balance between effort and ease is to find moments of laughter and make time to be a little silly. So I like that visualization of telling someone to be quiet. We can smile and have some fun in our yoga. Go ahead and rock forward onto hands and knees. And you're going to plant your hands directly under your shoulders, your knees under your hips. So you find a stacking of the bones. And that will help to support the space of the joints. And moving into some rounds of cat and cow. On the inhalation, drop your belly, lift your tail, lift your heart. And on the exhalation, pull the belly button in and round through the upper back. And take that a few times, just moving through these two poses. Loosening the spine, the hips, the sacrum. And you'll find some stretch on the belly as the belly drops and the tail lifts. And then you'll find some stretch between the shoulder blades as you round. Do that one more time. Now coming back to a neutral position, and you're just going to take your head side to side. So this is a lateral variation of cat and cow. And as you look over your right shoulder, you'll feel some nice stretch on the left side ribs. And as you look over the left shoulder, you'll feel stretch on the right side rib cage. So just give a little stretch to those accessory breathing muscles that are in between your ribs. And then completing the round that you're on. And then come on back to that center position. Walk the hands forward for downward facing puppy. Stretch the chest back towards your thighs. Here the tailbone is pointing up towards the ceiling. The arms are long, long through both sides of the waist. The head stays lifted off of the floor. And then come back up, bring the hands back under the shoulders, draw the belly in and up. So don't let the belly hang here in the tail lift. You want to draw the belly in and up, and then stretch back through your right foot. Get some circles at the ankle, loosening up the joint or at the ankle, rotate in the opposite direction. And now bend at your knee, toe pointing to the ceiling, and you're going to draw some circles with your right knee. So as you circle around, you're loosening at the hip joint. So you can make big circles, or you can just be a little bit smaller depending on how your hip feels. Go the opposite direction. And for some, it might not be as much of a mobility exercise, but more a brain exercise. If you haven't moved your hip in this way for a while, it takes a minute for the brain to figure out, like, wait, what am I doing here? Come back to center. Press back to the sole of the foot. Breathe in. And as you exhale, draw knee to nose, like you're rounding in cat stretch. Pull the knee. On the inhalation, stretch back through the foot, press through the heel, activating the back of your leg. And on exhalation, knee to nose, round. Do that 2 more times. So you're creating some activation in the back side, hamstring and glutes on inhalation, and then activating the abdominals on exhalation as the knee pulls in and round. Go ahead and lower the right knee down to the ground. Take a moment back in child's pose just to rest the wrists. Sometimes that can build up, so if you need to circle out a little bit through your wrists before you take child's pose, go ahead and do that. And then any variation of child's pose that feels good for you. Remember that you want your forehead to be on a solid surface. So if the head doesn't come easily to the floor, just stack your hands in 2 fists and rest forehead on top of hands. Bring yourself back up to tabletop. Make sure you stack your bones and then draw the belly in and up so you're really supporting at the abdominals. Stretching back for the left leg, a nice stretch back. You can feel that activating the muscles in the back of the leg, and then circling out at the ankle. Those little cricks and cracks out. And then take that the opposite way. And now bending at the left knee, start to draw those circles. Any way that you can get some movement there at the hip is great. So bigger circles, tiny circles. brain teaser, whatever works for you, and go the opposite way. I'm going to come back to a neutral position and press back through the sole of the foot, really strong through the abdominals. Inhale and stretch back. On exhale, pull knee to nose, round. Inhalation, you find that press back through the heel, right at hip height. And on the exhalation, drawing in. 2 more times. Really follow your breath. Let the breath support the movement. Bringing the left knee back down, find your child's pose. If it's available to you, you can sweep the arms back, but make sure you have something to rest your head. And with the arms back by the sides and the palms facing up, really get a nice spacious feeling in between the shoulder blades. So let yourself really settle in, nice and heavy here, releasing shoulders, releasing head and neck. Begin to walk yourself back up. Take one more movement here on hands and knees. So if your wrists start to get tired, you can come to the forearms. So just know that if you have sensitive wrists and you have this longer time on hands and knees, if you need to, you can always come down to the forearms. It'll be a little bit more, a less range of motion if you go there. But if you stack the bones and really press the floor with the hands, maybe you can find that nice steady space in the joints. Stretching back to the right leg, and this time bend the knee and point the toe to the ceiling. The movement pattern will be inhale, lift the toe in the chest like cow pose, and on the exhalation, drawing knee in, rounding like cat. You're going to swing through, so we're loosening the front of the hip. The inhalation, you open up, and the exhalation, you pull in. Do that a few more times. Feel that more as mobility in the hip and really stretching the muscles. The muscles are working to lift the legs, so you're going to feel that in your right glute. Last time. Good, bringing the right knee down. And on your inhalation, reach your right arm up to the ceiling. On your exhalation, thread the right arm underneath the left or thread the needle. The right temple will come down to the floor, pushing into the left hand, creating a twist in the upper part of your spine. Finding your variation of thread the needle. You can be a little bit less active in this pose by simply softening down towards the floor. For more twist, the left elbow bends and points up towards the ceiling. And if your left elbow is pointing up, soften it back down, push into the left palm, and come back through. And now setting up for the left side, stacking the hands right under the shoulders, lifting up to the left leg, bending at the knee, pointing the toe. On your inhalation, lift chest, lift toe towards the ceiling. And on exhalation, knee pulls in round. And continue to move through. Nice swinging action. You'll start to feel that heat building up in that left side glute. This is really great for strengthening those muscles, one of the biggest muscle groups in the body that you really need for strength, stability, and balance. One more time. And then bringing the left knee back down. I'm going to reach the left arm up, take a big breath, open across left side pectoral, and then threading left arm underneath the right. Bringing the left temple down to the floor, either just softening and surrendering here, or you can press into right elbow, activating a bigger twist in the upper part of your spine. Breathing there. And soften the right elbow if you lifted it. Slide back through, planting the hands. And once you're here, you're going to take a lion's breath. And all that means is fill yourself up with your inhalation. So fill yourself up. On your exhalation, stick your tongue out and make some noise. Do that 2 more times, really clearing through the throat. Inhale, filling up. Exhale with a lion's breath. 1 more time, filling up. And exhale with a lion's breath. And you're going to use some of that heat and fire from the lion's breath to sit gently back onto the heels. Now, if you have a block or something to support, you may like to have your hand on that. For some people, this can be very intensive on the feet. In fact, this pose is nicknamed broken toe pose. So go really easy. You can be doing something like this, lifting up and gently placing the weight back. So it's more of a rocking motion. Or if you've practiced this pose before, you might be able to sit all the way back on the heels. Very, very effective for opening up the soles of your feet. And believe it or not, those muscles in your feet can get very tight. So take a couple of breaths here. Maybe you're already out of the pose. That's totally fine. If you're still feeling okay, breathe in. Breathe out. Okay. And then rising back up. And you're just going to tap out, hands on the floor, block, tap out your toes. And then if you happen to be working with blocks, and you have 2, you can place those at the front of your mat. We'll be doing some lunging. My other block though. So you have the option to use blocks for a little extra support at the front of the mat. You could use books, or you could always just have hands on the floor. So taking your variation, creating the support that you need. And from here, your right foot is coming forward between your hands or the blocks, and then sliding the left knee back. So you're creating a lunge position, and you're going to feel a nice stretch here in the front of your left hip. Breathing into that space. So even though you're a little forward in the spine with the hands down on floor blocks, you're still long through the spine. So the chest is lifted, front of the head is lifting up. Breathe into that space of front left hip. And now, if you're using blocks, you can bring those back and by the hips. If you don't have blocks, just interlace your fingers and press up the thigh. Blocks would look like this, and that gets you into a more upright position. Now, one of the ways to start to create strength and balance so that you can balance here in this lunge is to lift the muscles of the pelvic floor, and then like you're scissoring the inner thighs together. So it's a very subtle movement in the body, but it's squeezing the muscles of the inner thighs towards one another. Then that can give you some balance and strength to maybe lift the arms up. You're listening to your body. Think about pushing as if you're trying to push the right foot a little forward towards the mat. It's not moving. And then scissor the thighs. Stretch the thumbs back if the hands are lifted, breathing in. And as you exhale, put the hands down. If you're using blocks, they come forward, or hands are on the floor. Yes. Now we're moving into a rocking half split. So on the inhalation, you shift the hips back, and on the exhalation, you shift the hips forward. And just do that a few times. Opening up space in the back of your right leg. The next time that you come forward, plant the hands, sliding back through the right foot, come back to hands and knees, and just shift a little side to side or circle, whatever feels nice for loosening up the sacral area. I forgot to remind you that if you have sensitive knees, because we are doing a little bit longer on hands and knees, you could always have your thinly folded blanket or towel like this across the mat for a little extra padding. So if you're feeling sensitive in your knees, take a moment to do that, and you'll notice that it really does create a nice little cushion and less sensitivity for the kneecaps. All right, so we're coming into the opposite side. Left foot is stepping forward between the hands and the blocks. Right knee slides back. And then spine long, breathing here. So use the support. You don't have to worry as much about the strength in the legs. You're going to soften a little bit and surrender that space so that you can get opening in the front of your right hip. Breathe in deep. Now either moving the blocks closer to your hips or using the fingers interlaced here at the thigh, push away, pushing into whatever you're using for support. Draw up through the muscles of the pelvic floor, feel really strong. And that space, think about that scissoring action of the inner thighs. As the inner thighs scissor, there's a natural pushing down and forward into that front foot. All of that is creating a lot of contraction in the muscles of the legs. That's good. You want stability in the lower part of your body so you can have some more freedom as you open the arms up towards the ceiling. You can stretch the thumbs back. You can feel balanced. Breathe in. And as you exhale, bring the hands back down. Adjust the position of the hands forward. And then begin to rock the hips back, extending left leg. And then bring a bend in that knee as the hips shift forward. So just rocking forward and back, opening up space in the back of your left leg. And the next time that you shift forward, stay there, push hands into floor blocks, and sliding the left knee back. I'm going to put the hips back down towards the heels. If you have blocks, you can keep the hands on the blocks or hands on the floor, child's pose. And coming back up to hands and knees. And now yogi's choice, either downward facing puppy or downward facing dog. So we already practiced puppy pose. Hands come forward, chest stretches back like this. Or you can curl the toes under, lift the hips up and back. For downward facing dog, pedal out through the feet if you choose dog pose, just so that you can create a little bit more space in the calves, behind the knees. Feet and the ankles might still have a few little cricks and cracks, so just moving in any way dynamically that feels good. Then whichever pose that you've chosen, take some time in stillness. Dog pose, the knees bend so that you can really move chest back towards thighs. Breathe and lengthen. And then if your knees are lifted, lowering back down. You're using blocks, front of the mat, or hands to the front of the mat for a second round of lunging. Bring the right foot forward, slide the left knee back. So now you have a little bit more space already in the front of your hip. So you can feel the depth of that space as you point the tailbone down towards the floor and lift yourself up a little bit higher. So blocks are very helpful. If you don't happen to have those, it's okay. And now walking the hands up to the thighs, you're not already there, pushing away. I'm going to give you an opportunity to stretch the psoas muscle, which is a deep underlying hip flexor. So to do that, bring your right hand to the back of your left thigh, and then reach your left arm up and stretch back. So if you are feeling unsteady, obviously your hands will stay down on the floor and you'll just be in the basic lunge position. Really listen to your body. Breathe in. And then very slowly, beginning to return hands down to floor blocks. Curl your back toes under and lift the back knee. Modification would be back knee stays down onto the floor. Coming into spinal twist. So if the knee is on the floor, you just plant your hand and reach up through the right arm. And if the back knee is lifted, you do the same thing, just able to get a little bit more rotation through the spine with the back knee lifted. So wherever you are, you're going to start to circle out through that top arm. Get a couple circles in one direction, and then go the other way. Well, the legs are nice and strong, getting some mobility in that top shoulder. Go ahead and come back, breathe in, open up nice and deep in your twist, and then the hand comes down to the ground. You're going to slide back through the right foot. And if you haven't been choosing wide knee child's pose yet, go ahead and do that now. Big toes together, separate the knees, and really settle down, chest towards the floor. You should be having some good sensation and release in your right hip for that. Lift the head just enough so that you can lift the left arm and slide right arm underneath. A variation of thread the needle, this time low to the floor, bringing right temple down. That's a really nice variation because you get a very good stretch in the outer part of your right shoulder. You might even be feeling that up and underneath the right side shoulder blade as you twist here. So just breathing into that space. Let it feel really good. Unwind back to center, and then rising back up. And any movement that you need through the hips, you can circle or side to side, just loosening up hips and sacrum. And then setting up for the opposite side, left foot comes forward. And so you're going to choose, if you're using blocks or the floor, remember you're lifting up a little bit higher this time, so the spine is more straight. That's going to intensify the stretch here in this front right hip. And making your way up, finding that nice lift. Scissor the thighs so you're really strong in the legs. Bring the left hand to the back of the right leg and then reach the right arm up and go a little bit back. So this is allowing for you to access that deep underlying hip flexor muscle that attaches at the top of the femur and the bottom part of the spine. So really stretching, lengthening, breathing. And then you begin to unwind, hands back down. And then you're going to choose your variation of the twist. So either staying here with the back knee down, which I demonstrated last time, or bringing the knee off of the floor. Either way, should feel good to open up. And then start those circles to the top arm, loosening shoulder. Go the opposite way. Once you're back to the top, breathe in, open into the twist. And the hand comes back down. If the knee is lifted, knee comes down. Sliding left foot back, knees wide, and child's pose. Soften in. Once you're in that child's pose, really allow for a space in the hips, sacrum. Lifting the head and lifting the right arm, thread the left arm underneath, like thread the needle pose, and then lower left temple down to the floor. Settle in for that really nice shoulder stretch left side. Neck is gently stretching. See if you can feel that up and behind the left side shoulder blade. And wind back to center. Take a breath. You can use that lion's breath if you like. And then come on back up to hands and knees. And choosing downward facing puppy or downward facing dog. If you make your way up to dog pose, soften the knees, try to find stillness right away. Let the chest really press back towards the thighs so you're creating an inverted V shape. And take a big breath in. Take a breath, sigh it out. And now whether you're on your knees or the knees are lifted, you're going to get your feet in between your hands. So that's a journey, personal journey of feet to hands. So you can look forward and walk forward if your knees are lifted, or you can simply arrange yourself onto your knees and then get the feet forward between the hands. So you're standing here, and if you happen to have blocks, you can use a block like this to create a little bit more support. You're going to move your hands to your shins and straighten your legs. The spine is going to be nice and straight. This is a half flat back position. And as you exhale, bend the knees, roll forward, crown of the head towards the floor. Do that a few times. Inhale, finding a straightening of the legs. On your exhale, forward fold. Inhalation, knees straighten, spine gets long. On the exhalation, the knees bend, belly is on the thighs, surrender the crown of the head down towards the floor. One more time, find the flat back. Really squeeze your belly here. Take your arms out to the sides, and then you're going to sweep the arms up and overhead. Take a big breath. As you exhale, let hands come to heart center. I'm going to come down onto my knees so you can see me. All right, so you're standing here in mountain pose. Let the big toes come together to touch. And then bring the arms up and overhead. You're still standing. Interlace your fingers and then point the index finger so that they're coming out. We call this chart as angel pose, or Charlie Angel Mudra. Bring the biceps by the ears and stretch the arms up. Now, if this is too much effort in your shoulders and you've lost that balance, you separate the hands so that you're not in a place of strain. If you can easily squeeze the biceps to the ears, that's good. So we create a little bit of tension so that you can release tension. But we don't want to go too far from that balance. In Sanskrit, it's called Sthira and Sukham, that balance between the effort and the ease. But as you hold for a few moments, you're going to notice sensation in the arms. That's good. That's what you want. We're creating some sensation. Just watch that sensation and breathe. Big breath in. Stretch up through both sides of your waist. On the exhale, Soften the hands to heart center. Take a moment to that first release there. And then completely letting the arms go. Don't even go into mountain pose arms. Just let the arms just relax by your sides. Turn your eyes up to the space between the eyebrows, gazing upward. That's your third eye. And as the sensation moves and changes and flows, you integrate that into the space of the third eye. It's your intuition and all-knowing. Just let the eyes turned up, watching the sensations. That effort that you felt working the pose just disappears as you take these few moments to stand and breathe. Gently open the eyes, and then you're going to step your feet apart wide. If you have a support that you're using, grab that and put that out in front. Okay, so feet wide. I'm going to stand back up now. And then on your inhalation, sweep the arms up and overhead. On your exhalation, bring the hands down into the hips. You're going to come forward with a flat back, and then bring the hands to the floor or the block. So here, the wider your feet are, actually, the less sensation that you're going to feel in the backs of your legs. Now you have to be really honest with yourself here. How is this working for you? And if it's too much, you can always soften the knees, come back up to a standing position, and just stand with the legs wide. As you press out into the edges of your feet, you're going to be getting a strengthening action. If you're in the fold, you're getting a stretching action. And everybody's a little bit different. So you might be up really high, or you might be down really low, getting the forehead closer to the floor. What I want you to feel is some nice stretch in the backs of your legs. I'm taking a few more breaths here, just breathing into the backs of the legs. If you can, gently tilt the weight a little bit more towards the balls of the feet. So you're right in that balance point. You're not leaning back into the heels, but you also don't have all the weight in the balls of the feet or you'd be tipping over. Come back up to a flat back. Option to use the floor or the block. Press into the left hand and suck your belly in nice and tight as you reach your right arm up towards the ceiling. So you're coming into spinal twist, wide leg variation. Breathe in. And bring the right hand back down, changing hands, either on the floor or the block, really pushing down into the right hand, suck the belly in and up, and reaching up to the left arm. Breathe on in. As you exhale, bring that left hand back down. And now you can start to heel toe your feet together, bending the knees, until you get the feet in position for Malasana or Yogi Squat and come down. You might find a different transition down towards the floor. You might need to come to hands and knees first, and that's okay. Find your transition. And then you're either balancing here with the tailbone just above the ground, or you can use something to sit on, whatever you have. And that gives you a place to rest the hips. You're still getting the opening in the hips and the inner thighs without having to hold your weight on your legs. So one is a little bit more of a strengthening position, and the other one is just a restorative variation, surrendering, softening into the space. So you find your perfect point and breathe there for a few moments. Now to transition, you can use the strength at your center and just sit on down, but it really depends on how close you are to the floor. So if you feel comfortable, you just sit down. And if you need a little bit of extra help, you just put your hands down and then let yourself come back. All right. You're going to take a wide position for your legs. So we got some good stretching in the inner thighs there. So you can open up your variation. So what is the appropriate position for your legs to be opening up? They might be a lot closer together. Lock or a book or a cushion, anything that you like to have out in front so that you can create a little forward fold. And when you're here, the toes are active, they're flexing. That's pulling the toes back towards the shins. When you do that, it contracts your quadricep muscles. When your quadriceps contract, the hamstrings release. So any help that we can get here to get some more space in the backs of the legs, very, very nice thing to be able to do for ourselves. So squeeze the quadriceps, feel the hamstrings release, and breathe. And if you find that you have a little bit more space and you want to come closer to the floor, that's absolutely an option as long as the spine stays nice and straight. So you don't want to kind of hunch down here towards the floor. That just creates a lot of strain on the lower back. That would look like this. Instead, nice and long through the back if you're going to come deeper into the pose. All right, one more time, breathing in. Breathing out. Very slowly begin to walk yourself back up. Give some help with the knees. Let the hands behind the knees help you to come back up. And then folding the left leg underneath and the right leg on top. So you're looking like this. And if that feels like too much for your hips, and you have a very easy fix for that, just extending out through the left leg can be very helpful. So you can either have this half variation, or you can have the bottom knee bent and both sitting bones really settling and evening. That's going to give you a bigger stretch on the outer hip. For everyone now into the twist. So the left arm will wrap around the right shin. Let the right hand assist in moving the belly around the right thigh, and then to any degree opening up through the right shoulder. It's drawing back away from the ears. Gently turning the head and breathe here in your spinal twist. When you release, let that be on an inhalation. The head will release first, and then the rest of the body follows. Uncross your legs, and then just let both knees be bent and take a moment to sit in this neutral position. And just follow the energy as it moves through your body and unwind the twist. Taking the opposite side. So you're going to tuck your right leg underneath and the left leg on top. But remember, if that feels like too much, the modification is to extend the right leg out. And that could be due to sensation in the knees or the hips. So if you happen to have sensitive knees, then it might feel a lot better on that bottom leg to be straight. So you find what feels best for you and then sit up nice and tall. And then rotating the spine to the left, wrapping the right arm around the shin for support, and bringing the left hand behind. You're sitting nice and tall, open across the chest. The head is gently turning to the left, and then you're breathing here. Nice, long, full inhales, up to the top
up to the throat. The exhales come all the way down, feeling that is strength of the pelvic floor muscles. One more breath in and out. On your next inhalation, unwinding the head and then the body back to center. And cross the legs and get both knees bending up towards the ceiling in just a moment to sit. Sipping the breath in through the nose, feeling the energy flowing. It's like you're drinking something so delicious, a nectar. It's filling your body, breath, your soul, and your spirit. You put in the effort in your practice. Take these sweet moments to pause. Effortless as the energy flows. And gently open the eyes. You're going to bring the soles of your feet together and the knees out to the side for Baddha Konasana. This is known as bound angle pose. And there are a couple different variations. The more gentle is to move the feet far away from the body. And if you try that, you're going to feel like everything just opens up and softens. And then if you happen to have a block, you can place that here at right on the feet. And this is the forward movement. Now, for some spines, you might need it even more. So that could look like stacking the hands. There is a more active variation, which is the heels in close to the body. So that just depends on, do you want a lot of sensation in your hips, or do you want it to be in more of that surrendered space? So in this more active variation, the elbows come towards the knees, the spine stays nice and straight as you fold forward. And it's a lot more sensation in the hips and the inner thighs. I've had a lot of opening in that space in practice today, so maybe that feels appropriate for you this morning to go into a little bit more active place. Let your body be your guide. Start to slowly come back up and squeezing the knees together, put the soles of the feet on the floor, and take your transition onto your back. So either rolling down from the strength of the abdominals or rolling to the side and then onto your back. So again, you choose to transition. You're coming into a full bridge pose today. You always have the option to modify into restorative bridge, just placing a cushion, a towel, a block under the sacrum so that you can just relax into the pose. But I'm going to be guiding you into the muscular variation today. So heels close to the bottom, butt hips width apart, arms are alongside. First stage is to press down into the feet and lift the hips up nice and high. And you can stay right here, arms by sides, and then broad across the upper back. Or you can get a little bit more shoulder opening by walking the shoulders under the back, interlacing your fingers, and then walk under again. You want to be high on the tips of the shoulder blades. This should not feel at all like strain in the neck and the shoulders if you go for the interlace. And then the hips are lifting high. You're getting that sensation in the backs of your legs again. There's your glutes, if you remember those from the beginning of practice. And tapping into that strength now. Let the breath really puff the belly and the chest as you inhale. Find that lightness of the breath that helps to lift you up so there's less effort. And as you exhale, find strength at the pelvic floor muscles and inner thighs. Inhalation, belly inflates, chest inflates. And exhale, finding strength at the root. One more time, inhale, puff the belly. Exhalation from a place of strength. And this time on your inhale, separate the hands if you interlaced. And on the exhale, slowly roll down one vertebra. And just take the feet wide and let the knees drop together so that everything softens. Any sensation that built up in your legs during that pose, watch it just drift away. But even when we create a small imbalance into effort, we find that once the effort releases, behind it is this just easy, beautiful place. Separate the knees. Bring the knees in towards the ribs. You can bring hands to shins. This is a nice, deep stretch and release for the hip joint. You can stay right here, or you can transition to happy baby, holding the backs of the knees, calves, ankles, edges of feet, big toes. Just grab onto something and then let the knees come closer down towards the ribs on the floor. Take a moment to hold static in this position so you're not moving. And point your tailbone really firmly down towards the floor. You're going to feel some good sensation in the hip joint. It's a really cool little stretch and it helps to release deep into tension there. You don't want to be moving while you're doing this. And now release that squeeze of the tailbone, let everything soften back down, sacrum nice and heavy. And you can start to rock in your baby pose. And just like sweet, happy baby, rocking it out. Final release for hips and lower back. Should feel really good. Just to create some movement and ease in that space. You can take as many rocks here as you like, but when you are ready, you're going to come back to center, release any hold that you have, and then step up for your Shavasana. And you want to make sure you create a nice, cozy little nest. So take as much time as you need. And then when you are ready for final relaxation, see if you can place something like a folded towel or blanket under the space of the head. And perhaps you have something to place under your knees, which just creates a much more supported place for lower back. We did a lot of pretty deep hip and inner thigh stretching, hamstring stretching, shoulders, the whole works. So if you have the ability to place something under your knees, that's very beneficial. Once you have your space, then let the body surrender completely. If you need more warmth for your body, cover yourself with a blanket. If it's really bright where you are, you might like to cover your eyes. So don't hesitate to get extra stuff if you need it. And once you're down there, feel the body surrendered heavy, heavy, heavy into the earth. From that place of heaviness, Inflate your lungs like two big balloons. So you're really heavy on the back side of the body, inflated and light on the front side of the body. And then softly sigh that breath out. Surrender everything. All muscular structure is surrendering. Bones are nice and heavy down into the earth. Eyes are closed, released in their sockets. No tension in the jaw. Open in the space of the throat. Feel the energy clear and free and circulating. You feel some resonance and vibration at the heart center as the muscles of the chest and the shoulders, the arms and the hands surrender down to the floor. Those muscles that line the spine and go down into the lower back, just let them release heavy into the floor. All that stretching in the hips that open up in some new territory. Surrender into that opening, let it all go. Legs are heavy and released. There's nothing left to do here except for remain still. Be still. Commit to stillness. And let yourself rest.
back to body. Come back into your body, lying here heavy, completely surrendered into the earth. Through the efforts in your practice today, you've created this sweet space of surrender, effortless. Aware of the breath that's already flowing through. Just watching the breath as it begins to lengthen and deepen and gently wake you back up. As the breaths become more full, sip the breath in like you're drinking in that sweetness, delicious nectar, prana. Big inhalation to fill yourself up with light. And exhale, sighing out. If there's anything else that you need to leave here today, breathe it out right now. Making some small movements to bring energy back into the body. And larger movements, we'll get some blood flowing again in the arms and legs. Stretching, whatever feels good. Take your time, but when you're ready, you'll bend at your knees and roll to the side. Spend a little transition time curled up in fetal position. It's like a little cuddle. Pressing palms into earth, rise on up, find an effortless seat, whatever that means for your body in this moment. Maybe an effortless seat means you stay in Shavasana and do what you need. So once you have your final position, whether it be seated or reclined, and feel length in your spine, feel space in between the vertebrae. We'll take a breath in together. Exhale, sighing out. Breathing in. Sighing out. And putting a seal on our practice as we find final. Just like singing or praying, that vibration, the sound that we create through song or words creates a vibration in the body. And the vibration of Om is said to be this overflowing love of the whole universe. Bring that up into heart as you bring hands to rest there. I'll take a moment of gratitude for this practice that lets us experience this effort and ease. It's not always in balance. Sometimes it feels like much more effort in yoga practice or life. And other times it's like you're floating and there's just no effort at all. So as you create and cultivate this space of observation or witnessing, you can see that in the end there is equanimity. There is balance. There is peace. Namaste.